Aquarius family, what is going on? Welcome to the channel. I am Deborah, this is Purusha Intuitive, and we are looking at your weekly reading, the weekly energy. This has been kind of a crazy week. You know, we're coming off of Mercury retrograde, about a week and a half out at this point. So you should kind of feel the energy settling, calming for around whatever situations came up for you during that time. I'm hoping it wasn't too crazy, too chaotic. What I love about the energy is that we moved into a new moon in Taurus. So all about setting those intentions, especially around like our home, our family, our finances, our stability, etc., like our environment. It's a great time to start a side hustle or ask for that raise, you know, and I feel like a lot of what we've been learning throughout this zodiac year is how to invest more in ourselves so we're happier, we're more fulfilled, we're not just doing it because it's what's expected of us, right? We really have to connect to that heart space. And you know, coming in with this hourglass energy, it talks a lot about feeling pressured. You know, maybe you're feeling pressured by a specific person or situation. Maybe you're going back and forth between something that's happened. Really taking time, I'm hearing, to think things through, weigh all the options. But like I said, it's something that's like coming from a space where you're stressed out about it. So the stress is forcing you to reflect. Like I said earlier, it could be something that you experienced during Mercury retrograde. It could have been something, embalming fluid came out. Okay, so this is kind of like when we're trying to preserve something, right? I love this deck. I think it's hilarious. I'm going to put this back in. If it comes out, we have that confirmation. Just remember, guys, these are general readings, right? So the energy is going to be more general. I try not to get too specific because sometimes that can be a little triggering, right? So if it resonates, you'll know, you'll feel it, etc. Definitely make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Let's build and grow that community. So I hear this as be really mindful about your next steps, Aquarius. There's a reason that you're feeling this stress, this pressure. You know, you want to make sure that you're seeing the situation clearly, right? Yeah, coming from that space of having a little bit more balance. I know we talked about how you're weighing all the different sides or assessing, reflecting. But again, this is saying to come at it in a more balanced perspective, you know? Not all things, you know, I don't know. I think it's important to be a self-reflective person, right? Not just putting the focus, pointing the finger, the judgment on the other person or whatever. It's important to make sure that we assess how we show up in certain situations, how we leave things behind, right? With this headstone. This is like a memorial, right? The way that we are when we pass on, the way that we're represented, it's what remains of our physicality. And that's for whatever reason, that's what Spirit is asking you to assess. You know, where are you giving in to unnecessary pressure? Where are you allowing that pressure to get the best of you? You know, and how you're bringing things to a close, how you're ending certain cycles. It's inevitable. I mean, here's the thing. This doesn't feel like a bad energy. It feels like it's something that needs to be done. And I feel like you're at peace with it on some level. But getting to that space is going to require a little bit more balance. It's not really being had right now. There's a little bit too much fear and anxiety in your environment. So let's look into this a little bit deeper, how it shows up for you, okay? Queen of Coins, she actually popped out while I was shuffling. You know, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn energy. You could have a lot of Capricorn in your chart or be on the cusp. This is someone who's looking at things in a very grounded and practical way. but also feeling left out, also feeling maybe a little bit of a rejection energy, looking towards the past, how it was, how things were, and missing that a little bit. Maybe it has a slightly nostalgic vibe to it. But also really not wanting to, not really wanting to go back through that door. It's more just in that vibe of in memory, right? Like when we're reflecting, when we're missing someone, something in our life, feeling, like I said, reminiscent about it. Maybe you feel like you got rejected by this Empress person, you know, or vice versa. Maybe you had to reject someone. Like I said, maybe that earth energy. Look at how the Empress totally has her focus on other things. But yet that Queen of Pentacles is still watching her, and through that lens of feeling rejected. So very interesting energy. Whether you're, you know, and this again might come back from the places that you feel pressured. If you are dealing with someone who you feel like isn't really paying attention to you, or just kind of like started doing their own thing, or however that shows up for you. King of Wands. This energy's been coming up. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Feeling pressure to do something or make a certain choice is what I'm hearing. This also has been showing up a lot for the zodiac readings. Places where actually, okay, so while I think that the King of Wands has good ideas and they make sense, it's also coming from a space of a lot of passion, sometimes like anger and aggression, and not really seeing all sides of the coin is what I'm hearing. So he ends up limiting himself. You know, Wands energy, fire energy can definitely like bulldoze ahead, right? Push people over and not really care about it or think twice about it. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. I love that fire energy can get things done and make it happen. It's just not always applicable in every situation, right? And honestly, it's actually limited a little bit more. So we have the King of Coins showing up. You know, maybe you felt very limited, very restricted in this situation. Perhaps you felt like your hands were tied. Again, I keep coming back to this element of feeling like a lot of pressure or stress around this situation. Maybe it was stress to make a decision or to see things in a certain way, which led you to make a decision, okay? Ten of Coins, so happiness with family, that which surrounds you. Maybe you had to make a decision for your own sanity or for, you know, the betterment of your family, etc. Yeah, but not really allowing options. That's, you know, here's the thing. I feel like, you know, a decision was made in a very, like, specific way. Like, it was only seeing one facet, you know, of the situation. And we all know that generally there's a lot of different perspectives or, you know, situations, people, places, and things can be multi-layered, right? It's not just ever one thing. So making choices, so dealing with someone, I don't know, who's just like, I feel like they make plans and then they, you know, put them into action. Lots of people showing up in your reading. Yeah, lots of opposite energies. So it's like I don't know, it's like people are trying to, well, we have all different energies on the board. That's really what it is. We have fire, we have water, we have earth, and we have swords. So everybody's approaching this from a different perspective. Everybody wants, you know, to have their piece of the pie, is what I'm hearing. But, you know, again, there was a lot of opinions about how this should be done. And maybe this person or situation that you were dealing with, you thought it should play out differently. And this King of Wands, how I'm hearing it, is just someone who is, you know, very much heavily influencing how you made your decision. You were limiting yourself with options, what options were available, probably because you trusted, you know. I mean, these are very, to me, it's like King of Wands, King of Coins were on the same page. You and someone else, you know, the way that you saw it, maybe your approach was a little bit different, but the way you saw it was very similar. Unfortunately, not seeing that it did limit things, and I feel like in some ways it made things a little bit harder, and that's, again, why you're feeling this element of pressure. Meanwhile, this whole separate party over here, you know, different approach. It's 2 knights instead of 2 kings, so 2 people who might not have the same amount of maturity or wherewithal. And just trying, like I said, this Chariot card is all about their own empowerment, you know, getting their peace, right? But not necessarily following the order, the tradition. Reflecting on this, so many people involved. Lots of energy, you know, so really this inability, I feel like that's the problem, right? When we let too many people get involved, there's too many opinions. We don't really know what to think or see because they're all circling around in our head. This is talking about you needing to take the time to really reflect, go within, also protect your energy. It didn't work out how maybe you wanted or hoped or anticipated. It happens. It's okay. I think that there is a rebalancing that we see. For some reason, like I said, Aquarius, you're feeling a lot of stress and pressure around this. But you're still kind of being self-protected as well. Like, I don't know. I think it's hard. I mean, not that I feel like anything was wrong per se, you know, it really is about like karma and how we learn our lessons, how we grow, how we evolve. And what I'm hearing for you is something about this is not sitting right with you. And you know that intuitively, but I think sometimes it's hard to take that step back and do a little bit of self-reflection. It is needed though, because I think you're letting too many other things cloud your judgment. And that's where that stress, that pressure comes into play. This might even be for you, Aquarius, a little bit more autonomy for yourself. Not giving away your power or allowing everyone else to make your decisions. The 8 of Wands talks about a conversation, communication coming into play. 1313 on the clock, how we're working with, how we are as an individual and how we're working with those in our environment, those around us. You're basically at this point where it's like you want to have a conversation, maybe reach out, give some clarity around this situation. You haven't really settled on it quite yet, is what I'm hearing. Maybe it's just like on your mind a lot this weekend. Maybe the situation gets brought back up by all these people that are surrounding you or it. You know, so be really mindful. I mean, I think this is a lot about listening to what is best for you. Igniting that passion, you know, back in. Here's the thing. I think sometimes when we compartmentalize things right, wrong, what is the right and wrong choice to make, it really is limiting. We know life is mostly gray. It's just about making the choice that's highest and best. Highest and best meaning, you know, what's really going to bring you the most happiness and fulfillment and make you thrive. There's still this element of passion that needs to be uncovered. You know, it's not just like doing what you're supposed to do. I feel like that's the energy that's pressuring you and limiting you. But instead, you really have to kind of connect with your own heart right now, Aquarius, and figure out like, where your true authentic passion lies and not letting this ego space take over. You know, we all want to look a certain way. That's life, right? Like we want people to see us in a certain way, but really it never feels very good when we know that's not authentically who we are or the choices that we want to make. So this is a lot about like not feeling pressured to have it seem like a certain thing and actually just really connecting with your heart, doing some self-reflection, and then figuring out your next steps there. Do you need to have a conversation? Is there something you do need to get off your chest? And if so, have the courage to do that, right? Don't let your ego win. You know, I mean, we need ego to like make things happen, but it's not very pretty when we let it like kind of make us look really superficial, right? So anywho, all right guys, I hope that this helps. So hopefully that wasn't too rude, because I am sending you lots of love, lots of blessings with whatever you're navigating through. You know, definitely if it resonated, give me a big thumbs up, drop comments below. Let's build and grow the community. I appreciate the love and support always. I'm sending it back your way.